What's up guys, Kevin Cook here, and today I'm in Yangshuo. I've returned to China, and for the next 6 months, I'm going to be studying Mandarin here in the beautiful town of Yangshuo, a little bit south of Guilin. And I'm also excited to introduce Lance, who's been studying Chinese for how long?
I first came to study abroad in 2012, went to a university program. Since then I've studied at a few different universities, and now I've been at a private language school for about a year.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't you walk us through some of the things to contemplate for those who are out there considering whether to enroll in a university or a private language school?
Sure.
Here in China.
If you're going to study in China, you can choose between a university program. Pretty much every major university has a Chinese language program for foreigners, or you can choose a private language school. They also have them all over China. So, but when thinking about that, the first thing you've got to think about is when can you arrive in China and how long can you stay? A university program is only going to start at the beginning of each semester, so that's maybe September or March, or there might even be a summer program, so maybe in June, something like that. And you need to be able to start at those dates and end 4 months later, or maybe you're studying for a year. So if you can start at those specific dates and you've got all that time to stay there, then maybe a university program is a good choice. But if you have a more specific schedule, maybe you only want to stay for a month, or maybe you're not coming at the beginning of a traditional semester, and you'd have to find a private language school, as they can receive students any week of the year.
So what are some of the differences for cost between the two programs?
Yeah, so in general, university programs are going to be a lot cheaper, but that's because they have a larger class size, and therefore they can offer tuition cheaper. Whereas a language school is going to cost a little bit more, but be a smaller class size. Now, class size actually is really important, so I would advise anyone to not just look at price and run off and do that program. Because class size has a lot of factors that can impact your language study. The first one, obviously, is just teacher-student talk time. Cognitive science has a lot to say about when you learn a language, it's really important to speak it in order to be able to remember it. You learn a vocabulary set, and then you put it in a sentence, and you speak it. It really helps you cement it in your memory.
Yeah.
So if you're in a big class, you're not going to get as much talking time with the teacher. And you're going to be stuck with these long lists of vocabulary words, and it's going to be a little bit harder to remember. Whereas smaller class size, you're going to be able to talk more with your fellow students in dialogues, and also with your teacher. Also, a big class size can give a lot of potential for mix of ethnicities, which in general is a great thing, but in a language learning environment can be a little bit troublesome. One example is when I was at a university, actually all the universities I went to, the most dominant ethnicity was Korean, and also a lot of Japanese. And if you know anything about Korean and Japanese language, they already use a lot of Chinese characters in their language. Even if they don't know how to pronounce them, they know the meanings of a lot of these characters. So in the classroom, they're often, flying by you, and even when they need to learn a new character, their brain is a lot more developed to be able to learn characters in that way. And so I found it a little bit difficult to keep up with them in that large of a class size with that many Koreans and Japanese. And probably the last factor with class size is that the teacher is not going to be able to tailor a large class size to each student's needs. So say you're someone that says, well, I just want to learn spoken, maybe some reading as well. I don't really want to learn to write. Well, too bad. If you're in a big class size, the teacher's not going to be able to tailor that for you. Whereas if you're maybe in a private language school and there's just 2 or 3 students in the class, then maybe the teacher can be able to say, okay, we'll focus on spoken and reading if you want.
Tell me about the daily life comparison. Like when you're staying in a university, where you're sleeping, where you're eating, what's that life like outside of classroom?
Sure. So a university will always have an international student dorm. And private language schools, most of them will have their accommodation as well. The private language school that I'm at the moment, they have actually foreign students and Chinese students living together, which is really good for language immersion. Universities, all the universities I went to, the international student dorm did not let any Chinese people inside the dorm, only international students. So sometimes when I was hanging out with my Chinese friends who wanted to go back to the dorm, we couldn't, and that was a little bit of a hindrance, I guess, on my ability to hang out with Chinese friends. So also the university dorms, every university I went to, they always lock the doors at 12 o'clock every night, even Friday night, Saturday night. So if you want to go out with your friends or something and you're out past that time, then you better go get a hotel. Or also, maybe as far as the quality of the dorms, private language schools are also, they're at school, but they're also business, and so they have the funds to be able to have more modern facilities, I guess. Whereas university, for me, it's been kind of hit or miss. Sometimes they have a more recently built dorm, and so they have kind of modern facilities, and others were just kind of built a very long time ago. Yeah, but the university campus is kind of cool. It's kind of cool to have a couple cafeterias on campus, and yeah, maybe basketball courts and things like that. The private language school I'm at as well has a cafeteria where everyone eats together, kind of community style, which is also really good for language immersion. And then off campus we have a lot of access to mountains, rivers, just kind of outdoor activities, and it's really cool too.
Okay, but not every place in China is going to have mountains and rivers and stuff like that, so...
That's true.
How does that factor into your decision for where you want to live when you're studying in China?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because if I'm gonna study somewhere, I want to study somewhere fun, somewhere that I can actually go and do stuff with my Chinese friends, that we're not always hanging out in a classroom. And also, I know learning Chinese can, well, it's fun, but sometimes it can give me a headache, so I want to go out and relax, have a good time. There's a lot of towns in southern China that have nice weather, mountainous environment, rivers, caves, things like that. So yeah, specifically maybe Guangxi or Yunnan province, maybe some places in Guangdong province as well. Places that have good weather and lots of outdoor activities.
And cleaner air down in the south too, right?
That's true, yeah. You don't want to be somewhere that's really smoggy if you don't have to. So yeah, there's a lot of clean air in southern China, southwest China. Yeah.
Any last bits of advice you want to share about where you should study in China?
Yeah, well, as a conclusion, I'd say if you have the budget to do so, study at a language school that has smaller class sizes. You're really gonna be glad you did, because you're just gonna be able to learn the language a lot more quicker and efficiently there. But if your budget is a little bit smaller, then yeah, universities can be fun as well. And if you're still on the fence about whether or not you're actually going to go to China, just do it. It's so much fun. There's so much to do here. There's so many bits of culture to find around every corner. So yeah, just do it.
For the next 6 months, I'm going to be here at Omeda Language College here in Yangshuo, and I'm going to be documenting my experience here studying Mandarin. I've got a lot more videos coming up. I'm going to shoot for making 2 videos a month. If you want to join me on this journey, you can. Check the link in the description below. There's a discount code, and you can get a little bit off when you decide to come here to Omeda and study in China. And I've been studying for years, but it's nice to be back in the classroom and at a private school where I can have a small class size, more tailored for my learning needs. So again, thank you so much, Lance.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See ya.